My name's Ty Keltner, and I am here at BrickCon in Seattle, having a great time, I might add. And this is one of the pieces that I have brought, and it's what I call Monster Party, or Monster Party at Dead End Drive. But really, it's just a giant Victorian house, very gothic looking, and yet everybody inside's having a great time partying down, eating food, dancing, stuff like that.
I love it, and the whole layout is immense here. So not only is the house itself large, but the whole layout is just huge here. Do you know how many pieces are in this whole thing?
Yeah, I've been asked that all day. I really don't know. But there's a ton of pieces, and I have to tell you, at home in my workshop, I've got bins full of bricks, and some bins I thought, I'll never use all of those, but now they are empty. And it's amazing how you can go through them.
Yes. Well, let's dive into the house itself here to start with. So
Yeah.
what do we have happening in each of these rooms here?
Yeah, so this model is based off of a drawing I did years and years ago where I just drew this kind of like cool haunted house, and it had different monsters in it, and it's just a kind of variety thing. And I wanted to recreate that in Lego. I thought, man, that'd be a really fun build to do someday. So I just tinkered with it. Part of the challenge here, though, is that I don't know anything about architecture. I'm originally from Alaska, and so architecture is not like a huge thing in such a young state. But I actually went to the thrift store, and I found this book on Victorian homes in America.
A thrilling read, I'm sure.
Yes. And so I just kind of went through this book, and I found things that looked kind of cool, and I thought, well, I can integrate aspects of this and aspects of that. And I ended up learning tons and tons of stuff about architectural techniques and all types of old buildings. And so if you look here, I now can tell you that this fencing that's on the roof here is called cresting. And, I didn't know that before. I'm like Googling fence on a roof and figure out what it is. This design work on the corners is called coin with a Q, or coinage, which is really awesome. This is a mansard style roof. It's like a boxy kind of style that's sloped down. So I was learning all of this stuff, and it's been so cool to learn that and to be rewarded and understand that. But anyway, I just tinkered with it and did different styles. Again, I'm not an architecture guy, so I would build something and be like, oh, this looks great, and then come back the next day and go, oh, this looks like garbage. And then I would redo it, and I redo it again. And I redo it again and again and again, and so it was exhausting to do, but it turned out pretty well.
Yeah. So what are some of the details on the side here, and how did you decide kind of what's incorporated in the rooms?
So one of my favorite things is that this building is done with black and dark gray and lots of dark green and the whole thing. So it's very dark, it's very gothic, creepy, haunted house.
The Star Wars color palette there.
That's right. But I also wanted it to be fun and whimsical. So all of these monsters and creatures they're just having a party. They're having a good time. This room here, it's got the swamp monster. He's taking a bath. This room here has got Death having his fortune read by a fortune teller, which is really funny. The witches are the ones that are making all the food for the party. And so this one is great, too. It's got imps, and they're just destroying the place. But there's all these really fun and interesting, whimsical things. And if you look on the grounds around the place, we've got these guys setting up the croquet game. There's the greenhouse, which supplies all the food for the building and things, and the plant monster there. So, there's all of this like classic horror movie, scary stories, all of this stereotypical Halloween stuff, but it's all whimsical and fun.
And I love the details even in the flooring as well. You can see kind of like mosaic work that you've done there on the ground. So obviously there's people having a party, having fun, but a lot of those smaller details stand out as well.
That's right. So one thing that I like to do is if I find something that's a cool detail, I try and figure out a way to use it in something. And so that's how I came up with the design work with those printed tiles, which is really nice. This tree here has dark green leaves, which matches the dark green and white pom-poms from the cheerleader set. So there's little things like that I do. This pumpkin patch here, is the best pumpkin patch I have ever seen, and I'm really, really happy because I built it. So it's just really fun for me. There's a swamp. I love the tree at the swamp in the back. You can see how it's just like curving over, you know. It's just that adds personality to everything. But it's a great build, and it's really was a lot of fun to do and has tons and tons of details. I'm a big detail guy, so I'm all about showing off different elements.
What are some of the other minifigures represented in this area?
Oh, yeah, so I tried to get a little bit of everything. Anytime I was ordering parts, I was adding something, you know, either vampire, mummy, swamp creature, werewolf. I was trying to...
All the classics.
Yeah. Just get all those basic figures in there as much as I could. Even if I could just get like a head, I'll take a head, then I could build a body for it. But there's other stuff in here too. I've got a few Disney characters, some things from Ninja Turtles. There's a mariachi band that's playing in the back there. Some things from Lego Batman, you know, swamp creatures, Demogorgon from Stranger Things, all kinds of stuff.
And then I don't think we hit it earlier, but there's like an underground section. So what's in these rooms?
Yeah, that's the cellar area, and that is where they store all the goods for, you know, the party and all the rest of the stuff that you have in the cellar. And then the other part of the cellar is a kind of like a Egyptian themed room with some mummies hanging out and that kind of thing.
I love those Egyptian pieces. And this party is so much fun. It's spilled out onto the roof as well. So what's happening up here?
Yeah, so I wanted two elements to the party. And in this top area here, that's kind of like the banquet hall, the great hall where folks are chilling. Lots of lights going on. So there's a dance party happening inside with a DJ. These guys are spilled out here doing their thing. And then there's outside, there's the band having a great time there as well. And so I added balloons, you know, freshen things up. On the roof itself, we've got the mad scientists hanging out. They're getting some electricity and bringing this guy to life. Here, come around the back here.
Yes, I love the you can get perspectives from all sides on this.
Yes, so I wanted to make it really a complete thing and not just a facade. So there's a whole back area here. This is where everybody's parking their cars. And you know, when you go to a huge party, people are parking on the lawn, they're on the street, they're everywhere. So that's kind of what I was going for here. This fountain is fantastic. I love how I did the water there. I've never seen anyone do that before, so I'm very proud of that as well. But really just
a little scene happening here as well.
Yeah, the folks in the witch coven decided to go and summon something out of a cauldron, so they're hanging out there too. Another really fun aspect of this build, though, is that I like Easter eggs. So I integrated all 12 signs of the zodiac are hidden in the model itself, and also all the signs of the Chinese zodiac are also hidden in here too. So people can kind of hunt and find things that is awesome on here.
I love the patio here for the very nice, fancy, decorative outdoor eating area.
Yeah, and it's funny because that part's not really being used quite as much. Everybody's partying on the roof, or they're partying around the pool in the back, and nobody's really on the actual patio that's above the car park there.
What are some of your vehicle designs here?
I'm not a car guy. I can't build architecture, and I can't build cars either. But I wanted to build some old-timey looking cars and some other cool cars that were a variety of things, so that we can have a cool parking lot, you know? So at the party, people are always parking on the lawn, they're parking on the street, all that stuff. That's what I was going for. But this red car here, this is one of my favorites. This one's got a old Fabuland top on it. And it's just a, you know, classic looking car. And I don't know how to build cars, so I would just look up like old timey car on the internet and integrate elements of those different things. This is a hearse here. I took the back off, and so we can get the coffin spilling out of the back. This van is actually a copy of a van from an Avengers set, but I wanted to change it. I wanted it to be purple. And so I made it purple with these lines, and then I could use these stickers on it too. So that worked out really well. And then this one's very British looking. I like that one too. This one's also very British looking, almost like a taxi. I really like that car as well. It's based off of a Friends set. And then this one's the most old-timey of all of those cars. And so I actually went to the Auto Museum in Tacoma shot lots of pictures of old cars, and then tried to reproduce a lot of that stuff.
I think that one is my favorite, and it uses like 2 of those pieces from the old sort of adventurers sets, right?
Uh-huh, yeah. And that was my motivation, too, is to make it from that era. Yeah.
And then what is this building right here?
So this is like a little crypt or a mausoleum type building that's on the property. You got an old creepy building like this. Maybe some people from the history of the building are buried here too. And I got the swamp here as well. The swamp was one of the first things I built. And then it sat around for months. So, I started building the whole thing in January, and we're in October now. So it's been many months. But I wanted a swamp, and then I just ended up integrating the swamp into the rest of the build, which is great.
Nice little campfire happening there, maybe sharing some scary stories.
Ironic, yes. But when you go to a giant party and there's people milling about, everybody's gathered in different places, and then there are people that just kind of like wander off and chill somewhere else. And that's what the campfire is all about.
So with this layout, did you start with the house itself then and then kind of build all around that?
Yes, actually here. The part that I started with first was actually the top. I wanted to build this shape. So I built this topper part, and then I'm like, oh, great. Well, I got this. Still need a few of the pieces to complete it, but where's the rest of the building? And, I would never, ever advise building from the top down. That's really a mistake. But I just kind of played with some different ideas and things. I have a Lego notebook that I use, and I draw down all kinds of ideas from life and then put them in the notebook. So I had different ideas on what things should look like. Here's the top. I wanted this circle window, kind of like a Doctor Strange-esque kind of circle window. I knew I wanted the different elements of the rooms. So I do different notes and things on how I want the building to end up. And eventually I got to the point where, hey, I can finally put the top that I made first on the roof of the building now that it's done. So it worked out.
How did you incorporate the lighting in there? How's that set up?
Okay, so I've never done lighting before, ever. This is my first ever attempt at doing lighting. I really knew nothing about it. I ordered a light kit, and I played with it, and I thought, okay, well, this might work. And so I then integrated a whole lighting scheme. I ordered tons more lights, and I figured out how to do it. Thankfully, I ordered little tiny lights that will go even in between one little stud, and that's how I was able to make this cauldron fire here, and the crystal ball and some of the other things. It really worked out well.
The lighting makes it pop so much, especially with any kind of interior details, because so many times I'll see a build that has great details in it, but without the right lighting, it's so hard to appreciate all the work and effort that went into that. So great job there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really important that it wasn't too dark, because I want people to be able to see inside. So when I hit the lights on it, whole new world. It really lit things up, and it's like, wow, this has really brought this to life now. And it's neat to have people be able to see into a room just like you would see into a normal room.
So what was transporting this to the convention like and kind of setting that all up here?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so first of all, when you build something that's huge like this, you're like, how am I going to move it around? I did not calculate originally how to get it out the door. So the building itself, 32 and a half inches wide. The door frame, 33 inches wide. So it's a very tight fit. But the building itself worked out okay. The challenges I had were that I really wanted to pass what I call the key milestones. 1, getting it downstairs. 2, getting it out the front door. 3, getting in the back of the car. 4, getting it to the convention. 5, getting it on the table. And then I think we're good. So I was able to pass those milestones, nervous every step of the way. The back of my Jeep, however, it's got 28-inch lift. And so I had to cut the top off of the building and put it into the back of the Jeep and then take it out here and then rebuild the top of the building. And it's a Jeep, too. So every bump you hit, you're going, oh, gosh.
That's some serious dedication, though. So thanks for all of your effort to get this out here. Do you know the overall dimensions of the whole layout?
I know it in Lego anyway. It's a number of different large 15-inch base plates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. 1, 2, 3, 4 deep. So it's a 24 large base plates, which is really big, to be honest. But yeah, that's how it all breaks up, is into those base plates, except for the house itself, which is all one unit.
Yeah. Well, what an incredible layout here. Thank you for all the time and effort you put into building this and actually getting it to the convention. What are your plans for the future with this? Any other shows you hope to have this at?
No, the plan is just to take it home and take it apart and then get started on something for next year.
Yeah.
So, but it seems like everybody loves it a lot, so that means that, well, maybe I'll try and keep it around, at least to shoot some good photos and have some more fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for all your work here, and thanks for taking us through the layout.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here too.